Welcome to PS with Jen. Today we're going to actually break down a really important topic: Western medicine versus functional medicine versus biohacking. Forever it's been a versus, but today we want to talk about where each of them have a specific role and why integrating all of them together for optimal longevity and health is really important. Today I'm joined by my first special guest, Karen, a fellow medical professional, a VIP Society member, and also a friend. I can't wait to dive into all we've been able to accomplish together. Let's get started. Karen, thank you so much for joining me today. I can't thank you enough for being able to be confident and to share your experience about really where we started as we got to meet each other, what you were experiencing before we met, and all we've been able to accomplish over the last several months together.
So I just want to say I'm happy to be here to share the story that started a year ago.
Can you believe it?
Unbelievable. No, fast year. And it's just been wonderful. So I'm happy to share with anybody if they're thinking of this. Yeah, they should do it.
You spent how many years in the hospital?
48.
And so a hot minute. Just knowing that traditional medicine really does play an important role. And there are really pieces of it that as a functional provider, I can't accomplish at Powell Studio. So I noticed time and time again that people were coming in and they were sharing with me, I feel dismissed or I feel unheard. I don't feel like I'm getting the answers I need. And it continued to feel like a negative situation where it was like you had to pick one or the other. Mm-hmm. And I felt that way too, in my health history, but I don't want it to be about that today. I want it to be about where each of them have their place. And I want to help make an impact with you so that other people feel confident to be empowered to speak up about how they're feeling, to feel confident to get the support from their provider or to choose a different one who's ready and open, to make sure that we can gain outcomes all together as a whole, whether it is through traditional medicine, through functional medicine, or through these biohacking crazy trends that are coming down the pipeline, that we know how to integrate all of them for our outcomes that we deserve. And it's not just about not getting sick. It's about being well mm-hmm. and staying healthy and our best selves. We're living way longer than we ever used to. Yesterday we were talking about getting pregnant at 70. You just never know what's going to happen. And so I want to take a minute to say, how were you feeling when you first came to me?
So I just want to say I have obviously been in healthcare and working in a hospital for 48 years in different capacities. I have great respect for traditional medicine.
Me too.
However, I experienced the frustration of knowing there were things going on with me. I was totally inflamed. I had rashes. I looked like I have a constant sunburn. Didn't feel well. A whole gamut of things. Weight going up, and I could not get to the why. No one was able to tell me the why. So I have always been interested as well in something beyond traditional medicine, and I never wanted to be the one that would take the prescription, be like, let me see what else I can do first. And I did try all of that. And I went through all the channels of, an allergist, a dermatologist, my own primary care. I even switched primary care. She went to a concierge service so I could have more of a one-on-one mm-hmm. with that person. So having said that and done that, I still was frustrated. I was tired, frustrated with my weight, just with the whole situation of, what was going on with me. Why couldn't I control it? Obviously, I am a type A.
We have not, us nurses, we don't want to control anything.
Yeah, you just want to control everything. You want to know why. So in seeking this here, I came to you just for, I think it was an ultrasound treatment on my face, having seen a dermatologist and not had an answer for what I was looking for, even for that. And as we started to talk, sitting on that heated pad was just
the biomat.
The biomat. Yes. And you listened to me, the eye contact, listened to what I had to say, not judgmental, and were truly interested and offered what you could possibly do, but not in a, I didn't feel like you were pushing something on me, which sometimes in traditional medicine, you do feel like this is your only choice. You have to do that. I didn't feel that at all. And obviously there was a good working relationship, but I really felt like you cared and you were listening, and then you had answers. Or if you didn't have the answers, you were going to find them for me. So that gradually evolved as I came back for certain things. It was very clear to me that I was going to get that answer to the why and perhaps be in control of myself. And I can just say I am in control of myself now going through the program. So it was helpful.
What are some of the other things that you tried before you had come?
So I had tried like Weight Watchers, Nutrafol, on my own, doing my own shakes. I was doing like 3 hours on the treadmill. I was, as I found out from you, I was starving myself. I was under eating. You name it, I had tried it in everything online and friends, and so nothing was working. Or I'd lose 10 pounds and it would come back, but I was still tired. I still was inflamed everywhere, rashes everywhere, with people asking me, you need to put sunscreen on. It was like, no, this is not a sunburn. So I had, at that point, was just done with it. And then I went to all the physicians for traditional medicine that I thought got, skin tested, blood tests, dermatologist, allergist, primary care. And I still didn't really know what was really going on with me and how to fix it.
I was going to say, did they give you any answers that felt empowering?
No, I had routine blood tests because I do like my primary physician. She's very good. Mm-hmm. She did certain blood tests, diagnosed me then with osteoporosis, which I didn't know I had, and then that just put the hairs up on the back of my head because I'm like, I don't want a prescription for that, but I had to have that, but I wasn't happy knowing the implications for what that was. No, I didn't really. At one point, I was very frustrated with one of the physicians because she told me after taking blood work, it was an allergist, you don't have an allergy to XYZ, but I knew my symptoms, how they were coming out, mm-hmm. that yes, when I eat this is what happens. I'm not making that up. So yeah, I was frustrated. I just wanted someone to listen and to let me know, is there something else out there that we can do, that you can empower me to do? And so that was Jenn.
Mm-hmm. So we ended up, bonding because I completely understand where you were coming from. After years in the emergency room, being a mom of 5, working the night shift for a period of time that did not agree with me. I was like, talk about hormones crashing and being all over the place. And so I came to the point where it was like your friends would be like, you want to go grab a bite to eat? Or, my husband and I's bonding time together would be to grab a nap and to connect. Yeah. And I felt uncomfortable to go to a restaurant. I was like, how am I going to mess this up? Because everything was so unclear. And mm-hmm. and like you, I loved my primary care. I love my primary care. She really tried hard to support me and did give me referrals to a weight loss specialist, to the endocrinologist, to all of these other providers. She did try an anti-anxiety, antidepressant, and I tried everything. I did. We follow the rules. Yeah. And, that's part of healthcare is you don't want to be combative or like non-compliant, but you do want to be able to advocate and say like, this didn't work. Like I gave it optimal time. Yep. I tried it. I actually don't think that this was the problem to begin with. And now what's the next step? Because this isn't working for me. And things that I enjoyed in day-to-day life became more of a chore, or things I was staying away from because mm-hmm. they were creating a symptom, if not at the moment, but a day or two later. Is like, okay, do I take Benadryl to sleep tonight because I had so much skin rashing and my gut health was poor? And I didn't really know what was going on because according to everyone, my lab work was fine too.
Yeah. I think that was a large part of our connection as well. Similar stories, working nights, being it to everybody, not taking care of myself. And one thing I did learn coming here was if you prioritize your health, everything else falls into place. Yeah. Instead of
our air mask on first, our oxygen first.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And listening to your body, and you deserve to be taken care of. You deserve the best.
I think it's tricky too because I think where we are perfectionists or type A people mm-hmm. in the healthcare system, and we want everything to be so amazing that it's not okay for us to have part of the day not be perfect, and to not sail this into like a continuing the rest of the day in bad choices, or just like giving up or giving ourselves. I've talked in other episodes about like spending 2 years on day one, just like starting over the next day because it had to be perfect. But instead learning a new lifestyle. How can you enjoy your friends? How can you relive and do the things you enjoy, but pick the best options and then enjoy that, not beat yourself up like, oh, I'm failing or I'm cheating. But I had a planned indulgence and I loved every second of it. And then I went back to what I know serves me the best.
Yeah.
That mentality has been a huge growth for me because
you've shared that because I've picked up on that
Right.
and benefited from that. Yeah. We just had that conversation over the holidays. I was still worried about, I still have that side of me that, oh, what's going to happen now? I'm not going to be in control of my food. I'm going to someone else's house. And Jen told me, just go have whatever you want and enjoy. And then you know how to fix it the next day.
Get a good night's sleep, enjoy it, don't linger on it,
and it
don't
made
let
it
it
for
carry.
fun. Then I wasn't focused on that.
Yeah. So with our time together, the recommendation, yes, we were excited about giving beautiful skin, but it was more or less talking about how everything else, that inflammation is actually going to break down our efforts way more rapidly, right? And lack of hormones can definitely increase or accelerate skin aging and crepiness or laxity. Without estrogen, we don't have that support for the skin. So thinking about diving deeper and identifying where inflammation was coming from and where we could remove those triggers to not be swimming up tide. It's like we don't want to work against everything that's working against us. We want to remove as much as possible and then dive in both feet so that we can have optimal healing. And so when we started together, you were recommended with the Powell Performance Program, right? Like you had the Powell Performance Program as something that I made for a recommendation.
Yep.
And I know that that's an investment. What had you thought about, like when I had expressed that that was what I recommended for you?
I was really interested and I wanted to know about it. And I have to say, I think you had me fill out the questionnaire first. And I was impressed with that because no one had ever asked me some of the questions that you had there. You wanted to know about everything. It was very comprehensive. And that made me think as we went along that this is what I was looking for. This is what I need. I knew what I wanted, but I didn't know what I needed because the assessment to get into this program was so comprehensive. I had lab work and testing, food sensitivities, things I had never had before. So it was a total picture, along with questions and discussions about stress in your life. I had shared that I was always the end-all, be-all, and my job was absolutely insane. My family was insane. I did everything for everybody for years, the go-to, and then nothing for me. So my thoughts, when you presented this too, is I deserve this. I've worked for this, and I'm going to do that. And I remember saying to my husband, I'm doing this. And there's nothing you can say. For all the nights I worked and the times you traveled, and you were in San Francisco and I was with your mother, I'm going to do this. Yeah. So at that point, I knew I needed something. I wanted something. I was willing to do anything to get to a better point, to just wellness. I was just going to say in our conversation, just starting with the inflammation I had on my face and my skin, it made me realize, too, that what's going on in the outside was also going on in the inside. And that was what was impeding any progress that I was attempting to make in whatever feeble way, starving myself or 3 hours on the treadmill, whatever it was. I needed to fix it.
Yeah, we always think we need to do more. Right? Where sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, how about we do less?
Yeah.
And we get so zoned in on where to put our effort strategically. But I'm so grateful to hear that you love that consultation form because so many people give me a hard time like, Jen, really? Do I need to fill this out? And I'm like, yes, because it's so important to know. Like some people just had a baby and their shifts came right out. And so it's acute. Like it just happened, like for their whole life, they were healthy. And as far as they know, and they didn't really have symptoms. And then they had this event in life that I always say, empty your bucket faster than you're filling it. Well, this tipped their bucket over. It was like too much.
Too. It makes you think as you're going through it, things that you wouldn't, because you would ask, like, what do you have for breakfast? Well, no one ever asked me that. No one ever cared. I never cared myself, but I had to sit there and think of it. And then as you're writing it out, like anything, sometimes you're seeing it and you're like, ooh, that's not very, what do you mean? I don't have breakfast. I don't have lunch. I have dinner and lunch combined at my desk at work. But so it was very helpful that way. And then all the lab work, the testing, the sensitivity testing, all of that was so comprehensive, in that I would love people to just recognize you're going to get the best assessment that you ever had, and put all the pieces together, including, like I said, talks about stress in your life. Mm-hmm. What's going on? What can you control? What can't you control?
Yeah.
And then I loved your approach. You started with the bigger picture and in explaining as we went down. You have to fix this first before we can get to that. But none of it was a commercial sell. It was truly like a conversation that you'd have with a friend, that you wanted me to get better and I wanted to then get better. And I wanted to do the right thing that you were telling me to do. And I did it.
I'm so proud of you. This is, it is a gift for me to be able to say I'm taking all my years in traditional medicine that I have learned. I'm taking my own personal experience, and I'm taking the areas where I saw my clients and friends struggle, mm-hmm. and have pushed it to another level where we can combine all of it and truly get to the root cause and have a solution of feeling better. And it took me years actually to navigate having it be such an investment, because everyone these days likes a quick fix and a deal.
Yep.
And
it's
so
not
that
a silver
really
bullet.
Yeah, it's like really struggle with that, because I knew, there's smaller versions of this program that I could present to you, but it's not going to give you the wow that you get to enjoy now in 2026. It's like how we can give you no stone unturned and make sure that we are identifying everything from your genetics. Like, yes, people are afraid of genetics. I'm like, I'm not finding your long lost uncle. I'm letting you know what genes are your makeup. And then lifestyle is your epigenetics. That's whether you turn things on or off. But if we know your risks, then we know where we need to focus and how to prevent, right? Mm-hmm. And when we're chronically inflamed, like if you had an allergy that traditional medicine was going to test for it, that's an IgG allergy test, or an IgE. That's like an acute, I'm going to close my throat, I need an EpiPen. You don't need me for that. You're going to know, like, I needed an EpiPen, I'm going to the hospital.
I had that, and that still didn't even pinpoint any of the weird food things that I turned up with.
Yeah. So we did what's called IgG allergy testing. And so what we sometimes don't notice is those little symptoms, and I've talked about it in other episodes, where they're so discreet that we know, like, oh, maybe we got congested. Maybe we got a rash on the hand, but it went away after a couple of days. Maybe our rings didn't fit good the next day. Like some little things, but it wasn't something that was so impactful that you didn't keep going. Right? But if you continue to have those exposures over and over and over again, well, then it's creating chronic inflammation. Mm-hmm. That's not an acute thing, it's chronic. And then what happens, we have a histamine response throughout the whole body, where your body's trying to target that inflammatory thing and protect you, which is smart. Your body's so smart. Or your gut becomes so inflamed that you stop absorbing and it gets leaky. It's like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Yeah. And so by identifying those IgG triggers, it can be a little depressing for some people to start, but also mind-blowing, like, oh my gosh, I would have never thought of that. Yeah. And so with you, we had identified...
oh my God, all dairy.
Yeah.
Ginger. Mm-hmm. Bromelain, which was in pineapple. So just interesting, I had Greek yogurt, pineapple, all the bad things that I'm allergic to just about every morning. And then there was the food sensitivity identified that I had mold, which I was horrified, like, to even think. I wanted to, like, jump out of my skin, like, where did that come from? And then to learn the foods that I was eating that was giving me the mold, which was causing some brain fog. And it just was like building blocks. But it was all also like your aha moment in some relief too, like, oh, okay, so this is why I feel bad. This is why I look this way. This is what's happening with me. And as I went along and was able to understand what was going on with me, it made the conversation very easy with my own primary physician to let her know what program I was on, what I was doing, because she was a little bit at first taken back by, why are you doing that? Mm-hmm. But as she could see progress and the inflammation was going down, I knew what sensitivities I had for food. I knew even about protein, like specific things that you should be doing. It was very helpful to her to see that, no, this is working. So you had told me up front as well, after the consult and after all the labs, we got together, I think it was for like a full hour, to talk about me and how you were going to help me fix me. You also say right up front, which I appreciated, it was so honest, this is not a quick silver bullet fix, like you just said. And this is collaborative, so you will decide as well. I can offer you things, therapies, medicines, whatever, but it's going to be up to you as well. So I didn't feel, again, like being handed a prescription, that this is what you need, this is what you have to take, no matter what. No, it was everything, and everything was explained, the why of that, which I liked. The in-depth knowledge of what you had learned in your experience you shared as well, which was good, with what would work with other people. And I know I gave you some challenges along the way with some of the...
I love them.
the medicine that I needed or vitamins that I needed, and then it turns out that I had an allergy to that, which I didn't know about. So Jenn always was able to say, if I don't know the answer right now, let me look and see what there is for you. So we were always able to solve it. I say I did nothing. I just knew that you would.
Communication is so important, and I can't support something that I don't know about, right? Yeah. And so I think this program, although some people say it's not the silver bullet, it's too long, it's an investment. Your 5 months of us working together to get the most bang for our buck took me 10 years. Yeah. So to me, I'm like, this is nothing. Yeah. I spent over $100,000 working with providers over a decade trying to find these answers. And so I love that you can see like the value of having a team player, of doing it in collaboration, but still feeling in control. That's always been my goal, because it can take a long time to get these changes to actually acclimate. If you're like, okay, here's my allergies and I'll avoid these. Like for me, I had never tested. I just cut out dairy and gluten blind. Yeah. What a devastating year to have no progress at the end of that year, because I had not stopped eating pizza, watching my family while I ate the salad. I had an egg and yeast allergy on top of the dairy and gluten that I never knew about. And so what do you eat when you don't eat gluten? You eat eggs all the time. So I was killing myself slowly over a whole extra year. Had I tested, I could have cut all of that out. So you could see, like, even though I made huge sacrifice, I had no gains because I didn't have that complete. And so I was trying to say to you, like, listen, you don't want to tiptoe because you won't get the prize as soon. Right. And 5 months already seems like a long time. We want to make sure that we're getting that progress. So it's about short-term gains and long-term benefits.
And I had done with you in my own attempt to figure out what's going on, cut out gluten, cut out dairy, but wasn't having gains either. It was actually making you feel worse, just like you said.
Yeah. And depressed and sad and lonely and isolated and mad.
And then
I was mad.
Yeah,
I was mad. I'm
like,
what's
what's wrong with that?
I mean, salads and walking 3 miles. Like, no, not fair.
Yeah. No, that's exactly right. I think you have to be committed to do something like this, but that's all part of the process too. Just even going through the questionnaire, it's long, it takes time. Going to get the lab work, waiting for the results, going through all of it to see. But all of those things for me was motivating then, because I was seeing something. It was explaining what I was looking for. If 5 years, if you were to back me 5 years, I probably wouldn't have even thought about this, because you get so busy with other parts of your life, and then you start to accept, well, this is just the way it is. This is just the way it is. And that's a bad mindset to be in, but I think a very common one for people, and it certainly was the way I was. I used to come into the building here for other services, for my hair and whatever, and I knew of the Powell, but I never, I used to think, oh, that would be nice, but then it was always, I don't have time, I'm not going to spend the money on that. Just looking back, so stupid of me. Call myself that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think everyone is in a different space. And when we talk about traditional versus functional medicine, like your traditional provider has to see 30, 40 people a day in order to get that reimbursement rate, in order to meet the healthcare goals and the needs of a business, right?
Yeah.
And in my space, I know it's an investment, but I'm working with fewer people more intentionally and more thoughtfully and on a deeper level. It's not that these providers don't want to offer that. They're good people who invested so many years of their life to get this degree. But here they are stuck in a quota or an algorithm that guides what they are able to provide for you. So it is through functional medicine and my continuous meeting resistance when I would do the smaller tiers of like just allergy testing or genetic testing, but then saying, go grab your labs with your primary care, see if you get it covered by insurance, that they would be like, why do you need that?
Yeah.
Like, we don't need to check hormones. We don't have to look at that. Like, what? And they would almost be defensive of like, why are you asking for this?
Yeah.
And then it came to like, hey, you need an ICD code and you need a diagnosis that you are going to. Thank God. I mean, chat, blessing and a curse for some people that are, you always get curious, like, how are you coming up with all these terms? No medical background, but it's like they're really desperate to try and get what they're investing in with their insurance to cover meeting those answers and getting those answers for them.
Well, it was interesting. I think probably about 2 months into this program, I had gone back to my primary for lab work, and she was chasing me trying to get my cholesterol down, which I did not. I'm totally averse to that. Let me try and see what I can do. So when I went back and produced the metrics of everything that had improved, including weight coming off, inflammation going down, she was just speechless. And she said, this is perfect, and this is what traditional medicine can't do. So she was now appreciating that marriage of functional in her tradition, because I shared with her, as I will continue to do. But it was just very nice to see that this is real, because there are people out there that are like, what are you doing?
Yeah, she's a gift.
Yeah.
And I think, you're not looking to leave her.
Nope. I still need her.
Yeah. And to have her support and that ability to bring it together. And we say, traditional medicine treats, and it's, labs, imaging, diagnosing, prescriptions, surgery, where functional medicine is looking for root cause. What are the triggers? How can we heal after we remove some of those stressors, whether it's lifestyle or foods or toxins or mold? When we did your mycotoxin testing and the mold popped up there, it was like, oh gosh, there are so many triggers. Is it
I said
through
more
our...
than just, oh gosh.
Yeah. We'll keep it PG. And so we look like, is it through our food? It could be through strawberries or fruit or rice, or you just don't even know. Yeah. Or is it like because of a home you lived in or water that is at a workplace? You just never know about where you were originally exposed. But those toxins are getting deeper into our system because of glyphosates, because of everything that's sprayed on our food. That chemical has opened our blood-brain barrier. And not a lot of people realize that. It's like, oh, well, my builder, actually, I told him he should go in the Hocket, and I asked him one day when I ordered lunch, I'm like, do you have any allergies? He goes, I eat mold for lunch. This is the root of like where people were okay. They didn't have the symptoms, even though they might have had the exposure. Now, because it is open, like our blood-brain barrier is open, those things are getting so much deeper and they're getting trapped. Once you pass that blood-brain barrier, it can't get out. And once there's inflammation in the cell, a lot of the other messages, whether it's thyroid or hormone, anything that's supposed to, that metabolic function, anything that's supposed to be able to support your body functioning to its optimal ability, like I can enjoy that workout. I feel like it's amazing and I'm getting more out of it instead of like I'm so fatigued, is metabolic function. And it all stimulates with cellular inflammation, messaging in pathways, and then our ability to utilize that energy to its maximum capacity. And when we're inflamed, like none of that stuff is happening. And when all those chemicals are in there and trapped, mold being one of them, we have to be careful about how we detox it. So that's where your next steps of like, okay, we want to get the wins and lower inflammation using thinner being one of them. and I hate the name. Unfortunately, it really should be like metabolic reset. It lowers inflammation, teaches you how to eat and incorporate it into lifestyle, but supports cortisol levels and lowers inflammation in the body, revs metabolism, but also helps with that hunger hormone, which is going to be really wild when we're depleting ourselves of things like candida or mold or yeast or inflammation. The body craves that stuff. And so you have to have that food noise and that area of cravings to be supported, or else it is even more torturous to go through.
Yeah. I love how you're just so compassionate about this. You just, this is how you talk to me at first too. You don't even know you're doing it.
No.
You're just like ready to
like what I do.
jump out of your chair. Because you want to help people so much. And you have all that knowledge, so you're just bringing it forward. I was just sitting here thinking, yeah, this is exactly how you used to be talking to me, which helped me too. And I became enthusiastic for myself to success. And then you see success, and that motivates you even more. The multidisciplinary, I'll call it for lack of a better way to term it, approach to here, like having the Hocket and having the thinner and having the guidance, because we always would have, 30-minute conversation, or you'd pop up on Saturday afternoon. How are you doing? Very, very focused on the client, which was, I think Christmas Eve you texted me on something, and it was like, wow, no one did that. My primary didn't even do that. She didn't call me. Not that I expected her. No, but that motivates you. That makes you feel appreciated, that you're doing something worthwhile, even though I know that I am. The person who's providing it is also enthusiastic. The staff, they're fantastic as well. It's just a happy place to come.
Thank you.
Oh, it is.
It makes me so happy. It's, to be at Powell Studio versus my days in the emergency room, and I wouldn't trade them for the world. I learned so much, but God, you couldn't get me to go back there.
Oh, I know.
They have no gold. There's no gold at the emergency room, And, I love to hear how your strategy or your understanding of there is a certain order to do things, because we just finished and wrapped up another podcast episode recently about hormone replacement. And that was the icing on your cake, right?
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, now we've removed the inflammation. We're down 35 pounds. Yeah. Our husband can't keep up with us now. We need to get him on board. It's like, don't you want don't you want like a nap or something? And you're like, no, let's go do some errands. Yeah. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
But now the hormone optimization, when we talk about your cholesterol that your provider wanted to support with medications, your osteoporosis that your doctor wanted to support with a medication, we're able to support the healing and the decreased aging process, that rapid aging that we have from being deficient in really important hormones, the estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, and making sure that you have that balance, that seesaw of improved energy, sharper mind, better sleep,
happier,
recovery, patience.
I have clavicles. I have that picture that we have over there.
Yes.
I was out with friends, and I swear I was excited that I had clavicles. I hadn't had them in decades.
Little things.
Because they were like, what are we celebrating? My clavicles.
Yeah.
So it's little things. Going to a smaller pant size. That was a celebration. It was,
Yeah, I remember you coming in, and I'm like, it's time. Those pants are going to fall off.
I know.
Can you please hit
holding off to get smaller clothes. But then when I did, it was like, this is great. I'd be in a store, and they'd be like, what size do you want? Small to medium, depending on the
Say
style.
It loud and proud. Loud and
small. Did you hear me?
And I know, like as we incorporate all of these things, one other thing I think about as a tool is our Sika scale. Just being able to see how you were able to manage building muscle and maintaining muscle and not losing that, but instead visceral and subcutaneous fat, those things that put us at higher risk for disease.
That's
right?
an amazing machine, because you can see your success. You can also see where else you need to work.
Yeah.
But it was always very positive, because I would go right to the negative. Oh, look at my upper strength is not as good as my lower. And you would be like, but look, your visceral fat is gone. And
look at this waist circumference.
Look at this. Yeah. So, that was always not a painful thing to do, but it was at first like, oh, what are all these metrics that are like pointing at me, and I'm getting F's in some areas? Not from you, from me. yeah, it just, and then you look forward to like seeing the progress. And then there was the reminder, if you wait, stabilize for a little bit. Well, that's because you built muscle. So
Yeah, you're actually hydrated now.
mean,
Look at your water weight. Like
Yeah.
there's true hydration happening, which allows you to flush out toxins. Oh, look, you've built in muscle. So not just like a scale where we see only a sole number.
Right.
We're seeing you again as a whole person.
Looking back to when I first came here, I was dehydrated. I was not taking in enough calories. I was mineral depleted. I was totally hormonal changed. I was overweight. I was tired. I was probably angry at what was going on.
We talked about this earlier, that little throat punch to the
answers.
family members that are just under your skin
Yeah.
and you don't know why.
Yeah.
It's real. And you're probably driving them crazy too, right?
Right. And then not knowing, the allergies that I had, the sensitivities. It's amazing. And then each one of those has been chiseled away. My labs are so much better and they continue to be. Yeah. It's just, I don't know. It's such a gift. I'm so glad it came through the door.
Me too.
Yeah.
So, I can't believe we've already wrapped up 2025 and are starting on 2026. And the reason I messaged you on Christmas Eve is because I look at the impact, the transformations.
I was eating chocolate cake. No,
I did not. I'm never judging.
I didn't.
I look for those transformations that we were blessed to be part of as a team. I couldn't do it without the rest of the team. And I know I'm making an impact, and you build confidence in me. Your ability to take these steps and to do all the hard work and to give me so much credit, it really is such a blessing. And so
well deserved.
when,
well deserved.
If you had an opportunity to talk to somebody else and say, to go to Powell Studio or to commit to your self-care or to dive into the Powell Performance Program, like, what would you say to them?
I would start out with telling them, just go. I wish someone had said that to me. Just go. Put aside all of your assumptions, all of your concerns, any of your thoughts, and just stop the noise that's going on in your head, the noise from friends, family members. Just go and see. Sit down. Fill out the questionnaire. That's a problem. I know some people don't want to take the time, but just think of this is going to benefit you. Just go and have that consult, because that's what I did first. We did a consult. We started it when I was getting the ultrasound, but then, it was just a true consult, and just see, and then you'll be successful, and you're in control. Because I think that's another thing that people worry about. They don't want to feel like they're being pushed into something that they don't want to do or they're not sure of. No, you are in control of this. It's collaborative. It's definitely worth it. You have success stories that you can share as well. Besides me, that thing that you held, and was it October? There was so many people there that were glowing, that were beautiful, that were doing well. Just go and start and see what is in it for you. And at any point in time, you can stop and go back. You're not committed to, it's like even a gym membership that you can't then take back.
Yep.
Just go see what's out there. Because, you think you know what you want, but what you want and what you need is two different things. And I'm definitely falling into that category. I knew what I wanted. I wanted some help. I wanted to lose weight. I wanted to find out what was going on with me. But I didn't know what I always needed. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that I needed those specific hormones. I didn't know I needed minerals. I didn't. So that would be another thing, like what you want and what you need. Find out what it is that you need. And then once you find out what you need, what is here to help you with that? Mm-hmm. Does that make any sense?
3,000%.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I think, like you said, chronological order. There's an order to do things in, and to start with your consultation and to just go in and get started.
Yeah.
I am so passionate, and I do feel like sometimes I can come across so pressured because I see right away, like if I see inflammation, I'm like, I know I can help.
Yeah,
like, or I hear that same over
Mm-hmm.
complaint that I hear all the time. And I'm like, oh God, I hope they're ready, because I can only work with so many people. And so I wait patiently for someone to be ready. But our goal is to help people start preventing.
Yeah.
Don't wait until you feel terrible. Come in, get the consultation, look to see how can I start making daily decisions that are going to benefit my long-term health. And maybe I could do, one part of the pathway and not need the whole thing,
Right.
and
at
be
any
in that
point you
discouraged
can
phase.
decide
Yeah.
what to do, and be patient too. That's key, that this isn't a quick fix.
Yeah.
There's a commitment. You have to want to do this. Again, you do it at your own pace.
Mm-hmm.
But the short-term decision to do it will get you to that long-term goal that you for wellness. Not just about like losing weight. You want to be well. You want to be healthy. I am so much healthier and continue to be than I was a year ago. And everything else in your life falls in place then. When you think you don't have time, you do. Because for decades, I didn't have time. Mm-hmm. Well, no, as I say to my husband all the time, now I'm paying for all those night shifts or all those times that I didn't do X, Y, Z because I had other things to do. I'm paying for it. That's my Hawkett time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I would encourage anybody to just even come and see. Don't make any decisions till you talk. And you can have the consult too, and then wait a while before you.
We have so
come.
many people
There's so
who
many
do the consultation,
flexibility,
or
here.
even the tier 1, tier 2 labs. Like, where am I? How am I starting?
Yeah.
Like, can you just give me the rundown on like where my starting point is very common.
Yeah.
Before they feel like they can dive into the whole 5-month program, they're just starting with the basics of getting all the answers of the testing like you had. So we call it tier 1, tier 2 in the office because it's like just blood work, or are we diving into genetics? Are we diving into the mycotoxin and allergy testing and gut stool testing, because we need to see that there's no room for error, that you're not making a year of sacrifice and not getting the prize, right?
Yeah.
But when I think about doing all that hard work, my one final question for you is, will you ever go back to the old lifestyle you had?
Oh no, absolutely not.
Has it been hard to maintain this lifestyle?
No, it hasn't. Because I like my smaller clothes. I like my clavicles. It's been really easy. You feel better. You look better. I mean, there's nothing better than going to see someone that you haven't seen in a few years. And they're just amazed at how you look. You look 10 years younger. I mean, it's really funny. You can flip the other side and go, I just really looked horrible and, felt horrible. And yeah, no, I would never. I mean, even through the holidays, worrying about what I was going to eat, I went up a pound. I came back down a pound. So no. And I now have the tools and I have the resources. I know where to go if I needed something else. But
And your body feels safe, right? Like it knows, like, okay, this is predictable, gave me a challenge, and this is now, it's in a safe space to recover.
Yeah, all that energy is not going into, why am I itching? Why is my face, no. Or worrying about, can I eat this, can I eat that? No, you know what you have to do. How much protein, how much carbohydrate, how to keep your blood sugar down, how to get your cholesterol down, to exercise. No, she's gone. She's in the closet. Yeah. And I locked it and cemented it. She's not coming back.
We talk, so we had traditional medicine, we have functional medicine, and we talked, so briefly about biohacking. So like the Hawkett is technically biohacking, cold plunging is biohacking, sauning is biohacking, the Oura Ring, my continuous glucose monitor, I've tried them all. I don't hate them, I love them, but they empower me to make more decisions that are thoughtful. It's not like I wake up and it's like, oh, you did not sleep last night, and I'm like, oh, this day is going to be shit. It doesn't do that for me, where some people, it will set them back. I'm like, oh gosh, I better make sure I get to bed early tonight. Like I stayed up last night prepping for my podcast to make sure I remembered all that information, but tonight I'm going to bed early. And my family now understands that, because it was a loophole of like, you go from doing everything, being everything, to like then having boundaries. Is very confusing for your family, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. It really, in friends as well. Yeah. It continually ask, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, how can you do that? How can you only have one drink? And it's like, well, because I can. Yeah. No, it was eating different foods, but my husband now he's gluten-free because I am, and he's been incorporated.
Are you making the meals?
Yeah.
Get what you get. You don't get upset.
Yeah. And family learned it, but yeah, it was very different because you had to weigh food and take pictures of it in that technology was great, actually saved time, but that was just very different when you're ready to eat and suddenly I whip out my camera and because I'm going to take a picture of what I'm going to eat, and they're like, what is that you're doing? My grandchildren, what is she doing? She's just taking pictures of her food because she has to. No, it's been very helpful. I mean, I can't even imagine, like, looking back what would have happened if I hadn't come in. I would be on a lot more prescriptions. I know that. I would probably be in a pant size that they're not making anymore. So I don't know.
I was going to say, have your husband and you made plans that you don't think that you would have otherwise been able to do?
Oh, we did some traveling. We're planning some right now, European trips. And I think he adjusted to my threat of, I'm doing this and you can't stop me. And this is for all the things that I had to do because of your career or whatever. And yeah, he's a good guy. And so he's just like rolls with it, whatever, Yeah.
So 35 pounds down, mold gone, skin clear,
Hormones
feeling
good.
confident,
Mm-hmm.
sound mind, healthy bones, not prescriptions.
Nope.
And travel plans for 2026.
Yeah.
Implemented a lifestyle that is ongoing and easy to maintain.
I mean, that
I hear
was part of
success.
doing this too last year. I knew, and I had said up front to friends, to family, to my husband, I'm not going to travel, I'm not going to do, a lot because I want to focus on this. I didn't want to go far away from this program in coming in to see you. So that was kind of like a sacrifice on one part that I asked, but then in the end was like, now we're good. Now we're good to go.
Short-term sacrifice, long-term
Long-term
gain,
goals. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Well, I cannot thank you enough for being here today and
thank
for
you.
sharing this experience. This has been an incredible year for both of us to be part of your journey, to see your success, to build confidence in both of us that what we're providing is nothing but success.
It's real. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's best gift ever.
Thank you so much for being part of this episode. It was very special for me to be able to share this year's experience of guiding and supporting optimal outcomes. If any of this resonated with you, if you have experienced some of these symptoms, if you have felt dismissed and like you can't get to the root cause of what's really going on, please reach out to Powell Studio. We're here to support you when you are ready. Thank you, Karen, for being part of this special day and for being my number one.
Thank you again.